see. We got 3 shells here: power, ground, power. The shells are interchangeable. Power's on the left-hand side, ground's on the right. And we have a tab here. It needs to be, there's a clip in the back, and the tab will be forced into the clip. So you can set up your shells in any order. In this case, it's power, ground, power. Okay, to start the system, you're going to close the inner door here, and then you close the outer door. And a lot of the directions on how to use this are explained in the manual, but I'm just going to show you by hitting set here. We're in program 1. The power level set for 300. Endpoint set to 100 is the default, that way it's not being used. We have a 60-second time in the program. DC bias not used in the system. BP here is the base pressure that it will pump down before it turns on the gas. And here I have channel 1 set to 10. And that's argon. On gas 1 there was a line hooked up to argon. And on channel 2 there's no gas hooked up. I have it set to 0. Now what I did is I wrote, there's 4 programs that are going to run. 2, the difference is the power is going to be 200 and the gas pressure is 30. The gas flow will be set at 35. Again, endpoint 100, time will be 60 seconds, and the base pressure 80. For 3, change the power to 100 and the flow to 80. Channel 1. So that's argon for those 3 channels, different power levels. Endpoint 100, time 60 seconds again, and base pressure is 80. And finally I got program 4 set up, where the power is 150, but I'm going to use channel 2 here, which is going to allow air to come in. So 1 is set to 0. 2 I have set to 50%. Back to the power endpoint again 100. Time for 60 seconds. And base pressure 80. There's no way to adjust the pressure on this system. What you would do is adjust the gas flow to bring the pressure to the pressure you need. The other thing I want to say is in this case what happens is as long as there's time programmed in the next channel. Well, let's go to 5 and I'll tell you that. I have time set to 0, so it's not going to continue on past 4. Let's go back to 1. Just look at the time for each program. Program 1 has a 60-second time in it. Program 2, 60, 3, 60. 60 seconds, and then 5 it would be 0. So what will happen is as the program 1 finishes, it's going to look at program 2, and if there's time set in program 2, it will then shift to program 2 and run that program immediately following the program 1. And the same with 3 and 4. So what we'll see here is I'm going to start it at 1. Hit start. At this point the vacuum turns on, and by hitting the display here you can look at different things that are occurring in the program. We're going to look at the pressure. Right now the baritone is isolated from the vacuum chamber, so there's an internal timer that's going to time down for about approximately 45 seconds to a minute. And it'll switch over, open up the valve to the baritone, and it'll monitor the pressure in the system. There it is now. So in that short amount of time, it pumped down to 300 millitorr. Now it's bringing it down. It's going to look for the base pressure I have set in here. Of 80, if you recall that. I have it set to 80. So once the pressure hits 80, it'll turn the gas on. It'll hit 80 and then there's a slight delay afterwards to be certain that it is below 80. Alright, so the gas turned on. And remember I had it set for 10. So now we have 10% of the mass flow controller flowing in argon into the chamber, and we have a pressure of approximately 175. There's a delay here to allow the gas flow and pressure to stabilize. Okay, now the RF turned on. See, our generator is at 300. Our power is reading 299. And we'll look at the reflective power. We got about 2 watts reflected. And here I'm looking at the reverse of the generator. You can see it's 12. That's forward. And then there's our plasma. Look at our timer here, and we still have 20 seconds left in program 1. We have our automatic tuner set to auto, or tuner set to auto, so we're set up pretty well right here now. Okay, now the RF turned off, plasma's out. Now we jumped to program 2 since I had time programmed in that program. And it's basically going to go through the same sequence where it's going to evacuate for a time, and then it's going to open up to the baritone, look at the pressure, make sure it's below the base pressure, and then turn on the gas. We can look at the program again, just to review it. It's going to be 200 watts, and the gas will be 35%. So the pressure is going to be a little bit higher in this case, and the power is going to be a little bit lower. Step back up to the pressure. So the base pressure was below 80 now, and it turned on the gas. See that the gas is already set at 35%. So the next thing we're looking for is the RF on. The RF generator turned on. You see we've got approximately 200 watts forward, reflected low. We're reading 200 watts on being fed back from the generator to the March system. Our timer's timing down, and we got 1 watt reflected, and our plasma inside. So as you've seen, as we change the pressure and the power level, the tuner will automatically tune. to give us a low reflected power. Okay, this is program 3 here. There's the plasma. And what we have here is the pressure is 537. We're flowing 80% argon. Let's look at the forward power is 100. And the reflected power is 1. See that on the generator? We got 100 here. Very low on the reverse reflector. Notice the generator here, we have it in a remote mode, so whatever's programmed in the program here for the power level will control the level of the power being output by the generator. I'll explain the local position afterwards once this program is finished. And we're in a pump out stage of program 4. Now it's looking for the base pressure of 80. Once it comes below that, it'll turn the gas on. In this case, we got gas channel 2 on, which is just open atmosphere. So we're just going to bring air into the chamber. I have it set for 50, and we'll see it controlling at 50. So the gas is on. Our pressure, 50% flow through that mass flow controller. The pressure is roughly 550. And then our power is set for 150 watts. The reverse power is now 0. And we're getting 150 watts out. There's our 150 being shown back to the mark. 1 watt reflected. Now you can see there's our air plasma there. Looking at our timer again. Jump to 5. 5 had 0 time in it. Now it's in a bleed stage, which is venting the chamber back to atmosphere. We have an alarm there. letting the operator know that the process is complete. At this point you hit stop. And open your chamber again. Right here I'm going to run it in manual mode. You have total manual control at this point. I'll switch the RF generator to local. Evacuate. You can open up to the baryton here. There's a valve between the chamber and the baryton, so this is the pressure the baryton is reading right now. The highest level is 5 torr. So now you can see it evacuating. At this point I can turn the gas on. Again, we had on program 1, it's using program 1's parameters, so we're set for 10%. And then now I can turn the RF on. Now you'll notice there's no forward power, because I have the power adjust set to 0. So what I'll do at this point is I'll slowly increase the power. Using the power adjust on the front. That's your local mode. See the plasma there. I'll increase the power a little bit. I'll bring it up to 200. At this point you can shut it off, turn the gas off, pressure off, vacuum off, and you can hit delete. It will pump out the chamber until it hits that base pressure of 80. Now the chamber is venting. On one final note, you can switch your tuner here, auto tuner, to manual mode and adjust the capacitors that are located in the back by using these switches. In case you have difficulty tuning to the plasma to the 50 ohm output of the generator, you can use your manual adjust here. But typically it's run in auto and the generator is typically in remote. That's it. Alright, here's the second system. It's identical to the first, except for the generator is slightly different. It's a 300 watt ACG3, but it's an ENI. So this generator and cabling interface is the same as the other system. This generator and cabling can be used, or it can be swapped between the two March systems, and it will work identically. Okay, again we got the three shells, power, the top is power, the center is ground, and the bottom is power. And again they're interchangeable. Except for this system here, the ground and the power are reversed than on the other system. Okay, there's your three shells. And what I did is I set up the same programming. I just ran, it's completing right now, for program 1, 2, and 3. And what I'll do is I'll just run that, and it'll run the same as the last system. Just to show that it's operational. Let's start. Program number 1 plasma, it's 300 watts. Again, we have argon coming through channel 1, 10%. The pressure is 167. See the power is 294, 295. See that up here on the generator. And our reverse power is 0. And you can see that on the generator. The program is set to 300 and we're delivering 294. Alright, here's the second program in the sequence. Here's the plasma port. And we'll look at, we got 200 watts forward, seen on the generator. Pressure is 315 millitorr, 35% of argon, mass flow controller. 200 watts in. And that's well tuned, you got 0 reflected. See that on a generator too. Here's program 3 running. Here's the plasma here. And let's look at the pressure is set at around 550 millitorr. 80% going of argon to the mass flow controller. And look here, it's reading back 98 watts. There's our timer timing. And 0 reverse power. See that on the generator. Okay, now here's program 4 where we're just bringing air in. So this is an air plasma. Got a pinkish color to it. And we'll just look at our pressure. Oh, this will be channel 2 in this case here. So we're doing 50% on channel 2. 50% open. The pressure is 585 millitorr. forward power is 150, you see that on the generator. And a reverse power is 0, and that's seen on the generator too. Okay, no time in program 5, so it's venting. And now our alarm's off, telling us that the program's finished. I'll hit stop. And then you can remove the work that you have on the tray.